Catherine Herridge, I'm going to make a direct call to you. When you're ready to tell your story, because right now what people are trying to do is silence you and act like you don't exist anymore. And the information that you had isn't relevant anymore. It's not a news story anymore. You can't trust this person. They're under arrest potentially in the future for not divulging this information, certainly having to pay $800 a day, and you didn't even get your stuff back in time from CBS. Who knows if they even gave you all of it. Come talk to us. We'd be happy to put you on air and let you speak your mind and make sure that people get to hear this story, this thing we do. You have a right to tell your story. You have a right to speak. You have a First Amendment right, and it cannot be infringed by this idiot judge.
Last week, a U.S. District Court judge held this journalist, well-known, by the way, a veteran journalist who's been doing this for a while, Catherine Herridge, in contempt. And this is scary for anyone out there who believes in investigative journalism or believes that it's important as it relates to our constitutional republic. She was held in contempt for refusing to reveal confidential sources.
A federal judge holding journalist Catherine Herridge in civil contempt for refusing to reveal her sources in a series of Fox News reports from 2017. She's also facing a fine of $800 a day. Herridge is expected to appeal.
This ruling actually comes, like I said, with a little bit of, questionable timing. Just weeks after this ruling, she was fired by CBS, and she was working on multiple stories right now about Hunter Biden's involvement with, Joe Biden, the big guy, and all the stuff that they were dealing with, Burisma, and all of that he's been testifying in front of Congress for recently. Surprise, surprise, they got rid of her. But she's being targeted when she's reporting on an issue that might affect the government. Well, let me give you a timeline for the Catherine Herridge story, because I don't think a lot of people know this. So in 2017, in February, her team released a story showing that a Department of Defense was funding a school with ties to the CCP. And you're like, okay, well, what kind of ties? Well, they obtained records from the FBI on the University of Management and Technology. It's about 4 miles away from the Pentagon. The records revealed strong connections between this university and President Yan-Ping Chen and the CCP, right? Photos obtained by
Communist Chinese Party for the uninitiated.
CCP. Yeah. Communist Chinese Party, right? Yeah. The photos obtained by Herridge also show that Chen served in the People's Liberation Army. Now, here's the thing. When asked if she had ties to any foreign governments or ever served in the military, she's like, no, just the People's Liberation Army. You actually served in it. You weren't just a member of the Communist Party.
She put them on their back foot. She said, no. Do you? They said, no.
Now, here's the other thing. Herridge revealed how they continued to receive funding from the Department of Defense, and that is a very curious thing. Also, for this lady, no charges were ever filed for her, right? None of them. Right. Nothing happened to her. No issues, right? So that's 2017. She was at Fox News.
Hungry.
2021 to current. Yan-Ping Chen filed a Privacy Act law. I kid you not. If I'm going to lie, you can't tell anybody about it lawsuit. Yes. She filed a Privacy Act lawsuit against the FBI. This is where Herridge was subpoenaed. Right? Come in.
The journalist.
Tell us your sources. You have to divulge this information. She basically goes in and says, look, I'm not going to do this. I have the First Amendment to protect me, and I'm going to protect my sources. This is what happens with journalism. You have to allow us to be able to do that.
Think about that. For a journalist is having to give up their sources because of a lawsuit from a communist Chinese national.
The Department of Defense is continuing to send, I believe they sent $6 million to this university in some form or fashion, either a tuition assistance or something else. Really, really strange. Again, you locate 4 miles away from the Pentagon. Okay, fine. But here's where it gets really strange. Herridge can make that argument, right? Sure. She should walk in the court. It should be like Section 230. You just say it and you walk right out, right? She did. She said it. Judge Christopher Cooper denied Herridge. Here's what he said. Chen, the lady that filed the Privacy Act, the CCP lady, Chen's need for the requested evidence overcomes Herridge's qualified First Amendment privilege in this case.
Whoa.
Her need for information on her privacy being violated on a lie that she told with some shady connections to the DOD, that overcomes a First Amendment right of a journalist. Now, this is absolutely terrifying. So Herridge, basically, she ended up being fired in February of this year, on February 13th from CBS. Now, here's where it gets really scary. CBS fired her and then seized all of her documents, all of her computers, all of her devices, every single thing, and did not give that stuff back for 2 weeks until being pressured by people to do it.
Also, by the way, all of these computers, records, a lot of them included information on stories related to the Bidens that she was pursuing. So she can't get that back.
And one of the things, too, she was actually a lot of potentially source information, not just information that they gave her, but information about the sources was accessed.
Yes.
By CBS. And basically SAG and AFTRA, what is that? The union?
That's a union, yeah.
They basically went after them and said, hey, you have to give this back. But they had it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll give you this back now after 2 weeks. We've copied everything now. We've dug through everything now.
Yep.
Of course, we'll give you your stuff back. And in February, actually like 5-6 days ago on the 29th, she was held in contempt by that same U.S. District Court judge and required to pay $800 per day. And in the decision, Judge Cooper said this about the potential issues with his ruling. Applying binding precedent in this circuit, the court resolved that Chen's need for the requested information to vindicate her rights under the Privacy Act overcome Herridge's qualified First Amendment reporter's privilege in this case, right? Doubling down on what he ruled earlier. Again, this lady, the CCP lady, has more rights. And doesn't matter that she has free speech over here. Doesn't matter that she's protecting her source over here. Doesn't matter that journalism has acted like this and depended on this ability for decades, over 100. It doesn't matter. All of that goes out. And you know what we said? Hey, wouldn't that have a chilling effect?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make it less likely for people to come forward with information, especially about the Bidens, if this kind of person with this high of a profile can get pushed out? Listen to this response from the judge on the chilling effect.
Downplaying, yeah. He was like, it doesn't affect investigative journalism.
Exactly.
Yeah, good.
At a minimum, any marginal chilling effect has certainly not frozen the information pipeline. Instances of journalism built on confidential sources remains legion.
Disagree.
Does it matter? The chilling effect is yet future, sir. It's not that your ruling hasn't had time to take effect, because it really hasn't. It's all about the process that it should never have even the possibility of taking effect and having a chilling effect on the market. So let's just play this out. I'm a judge somewhere else, and I go, that sounds like a reasonable opinion. I don't like what's being said by this reporter over here. Boom, you have another case. 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 And it takes the Supreme Court a while. It takes the states a while. It takes Congress a while to go, this is not how we want journalism to function in the United States. We've got to do something about it. Doesn't matter. The pipeline is then frozen. You're an idiot, sir. Like, you don't understand what you're doing. Or, let's be clear, maybe you do.
He does.
Maybe you understand what you're doing. And people need to look into you a little bit and see kind of what things come crawling out from under the rock when we turn it over.
Yeah. You know what? What's the name of this judge again?
Judge Cooper. Mr. Cooper.
What's his first name?
I don't know. We got to find Cooper. I thought it was Judge.
Christopher Cooper.
I thought it was like Judge Reinhold.
Christopher
Cooper.
His
first name.
Hey, lwctips@protonmail.com. Let's look into Judge Christopher Cooper. Don't worry, we won't hand over our records. Just his.
All right, so look, here kind of want to talk about the effects on the First Amendment. Everybody just assumes that the government has your best interest at heart and you have these protections kind of built in. Well, here's a problem. There is no federal privilege for reporters to conceal sources, right?
Right.
This is an issue. And so let me just quote this really quickly. In Brazenberg versus Hayes in 1972, in a 5-4 decision, the court wrote this: newsmen are not exempt from the normal duty of appearing before a grand jury and answering questions relevant to a criminal investigation. Now, here's the good thing. 30 states have actually gotten together and said, look, we're going to have protections for journalists. It should be every state, all 57 of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? I know that's not the real number. I was just joking there, right?
Was it Obama who said 57 states?
I can't remember who it was. It was or 53 or something like that.
No, 57.
Was it 57?
I think it was Barack Obama.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was just guessing, and I was as dumb as him. Fantastic.
You're getting better.
I am. I'm working.
Yeah.
So in 2005, there was actually a federal kind of shield law that was proposed to protect journalists, and it was proposed by Mike Pence, of all people. You have to do that. You have to be able to expose people. And you don't have to be beholden just to, I guess, the idea that maybe at some point a judge is going to make the right decision. It should be ironclad.
Right.
I have somebody who's leaking information. I understand what's going on right now, and I know that I'm going to be protected should it come to them going, you have to reveal this source to us. It's like, no, go do your own job.
Yeah.
You idiot. Watch Slider with Crowder live Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.